Hello, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to talk a little bit about NCLEX. So I realized on my channel I've only done travel things, but this time we're going to do a little nursing. So I actually took NCLEX for the first time back in March of 2018. Unfortunately, I was not successful. I failed it miserably in 75 questions. And if you've ever failed something, especially NCLEX, it feels devastating. It feels like you don't know what you're gonna do. You don't know if nursing's for you. You don't know if this is the path you want to continue, just certain things like that. So with that being said, I just went and did things not nursing related. I went and started working in a hospital and medical records. And I did that for about 9 months. And then I realized that I needed to take this test again. Like if I wanted this test as bad as I said I did, I had to take it again. If I wanted to become a nurse, if I had went through all of this schooling, I had to take this test to pass it to become a RN. So February 2019 comes around. I decided to study for a solid month. So from January to February, I studied strictly for NCLEX, nothing else. I stopped working just because I wanted it that bad. And when you want something that bad, you have to do whatever it takes to get it. So that was for me, it was quitting my job and moving away. So I moved away and I studied straight for a month. NCLEX comes around February 2019 and I go in there and I'm ready. I feel like I've done all I could do. And at this point, I just gotta let God be God. And trust that I've studied enough, I've done enough, and that it's going to be okay. So I take my test and I pass it in 75 questions. So that's what this video is about. It's about telling you guys what I used to get the results that I wanted. Okay, so let's talk about what I used. First time around, I used UWorld, and I think the questions were great. If you can afford UWorld, I know the price is going up. Mind you, this was the first time 2018. It's 2022 now, okay? Price inflation is going crazy. So I know pricing is expensive for UWorld. It was expensive back then. I can only imagine what it is now. So if you can afford it, I don't think it's a bad thing to use. If you can't, no problem. But the second time around, what I really used, what I believe was the trifecta, worked perfectly for me, is Mark Climate Lectures. So a friend of mine was so gracious enough to send me those lectures along with the blue book and the yellow book. And I listened to all lectures, all 12. Mind you, some are an hour and a half, some are 2 hours, but they are golden, okay? So Mark Climate, I also used a book for content. This book right here. It's called Quick Facts for NCLEX by Remar Review. This book is amazing as well. I believe if you want to cut out all the fluff, some books you're going to be reading for 15 years, it seems like. If you want to cut all of that out and get what you need to know, this is the book. Look how small it is. It's thin, but it's mighty. Has a lot of good information in here. Also, I used, I'll put it up here. I used the book, The Prioritization, Delegation, and Assignment by LaCharity. I swear by this book as well. I used the 3rd edition because I think that was the only edition out when I took NCLEX. But since then, they've come out with 2 more editions, the 4th and the 5th. So get whatever you can afford. But I think those books were absolutely amazing for me in order to pass NCLEX. Okay, so some things that I liked about Mark Climate Lectures. He gave you tools, resources, tricks to get questions right. I think what people don't understand is that management of care or priority delegation, all of those questions are a huge part of NCLEX, a huge part. And it's a #1 part actually of NCLEX if you look at the test plan and all that kind of stuff. And so you really need to know how to answer those questions in order to pass NCLEX. And so Mark does a great job of giving you tools and tricks to answer those questions. And then you pair it with the LaCharity book, the priority delegation and assignment book, you get those questions right every time because now you know how to answer them properly. So those books are just great because of that alone. But then when you pair it with this one, then you get everything else outside of management of care. You get information about sterile technique and how to properly, do this and do that. It just gives you information, what to do with a myocardial infarction. Things like that are in this book. And then it actually has a practice test at the end. So you can quiz yourself to find out if you've done it properly. So I think with NCLEX, I tell people all the time, use what you have available. You don't need to go buy every program known to man. You know, you're gonna be broke if you do that. And you know, just use what you have. Do as many questions as you can. Use Quizlet. I mean, there's so many resource sources. Registered Nurse RN is a great website, as well as YouTube. She has tons of great videos on there. So use what you can to get the results that you want.